How's it going, guys? I'm making this video to discuss a little bit about Yu-Gi-Oh here and its card art, from back in the days, and how I don't really feel like it was designed to look all pretty, flashy, and appealing. I believe it was made to look disturbing for a very purposeful reason. Back in the days when I used to play or even just collect, I used to really look for monsters that struck me and were memorable from the show. And a lot of the monsters were monsters that, you know, really instilled fear or were frightening back when I was a kid. And when you would notice them or see them in the show, and specifically in duels, you can just really see the reaction of the characters that had to face these monsters. And I really think that this essence has been lost in Yu-Gi-Oh card art in the modern era, and which is why I always revisit these old cards just to appreciate them for what they were made for, and always just go back and just look through the history of Yu-Gi-Oh from back in the days. And right here in front of me I have an iconic monster, at least I think so, Hitatsumi Giant. I think this guy was in the first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! When Kaiba played him against Yugi right before Yugi summoned Exodia. And I really enjoyed this card art, and just take a look at the art in itself. It's obviously not anatomically accurate. You see the one eye. It does look frightening, definitely unnatural, and it does not look like a safe creature to face, And this is one of the cards I really appreciated. And I purchased this not too long ago just because I needed it in my collection, and I wanted to just revisit the feeling of watching that show, watching that episode again, and just to revisit that time period. So take a look at this Hitatsumi Giant. Right? And then the next card I have here is Whiptail Crow. This is another one of the cards of which the art I really appreciate. And a common theme in the old card arts you'll notice is like the background of the cards. It's very dark. There's not much detail in the background. However, in some odd way, it adds detail to the actual monster that you're looking at. And if anything, it adds an eerie sense to it, and it creates a little bit of tension, and it really accentuates the monster. So yeah, take a look at Whiptail Crow. Next card, I think this is a very iconic card too, Skull Servant. Even like taking a look at this monster, it really embodies the definition, in my opinion, of the word monster. It does not look like something that you would want to engage with. Does not look like something that you really, want to get tied up in with. So, Skull Servant. This is one of my favorites, Opticlops. I used to play this card in my beatdown deck from like way back, like schoolyard type of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I have a very beat up copy of this because my cards from back in the days, I'm sure like many of, whoever is watching of you guys, used to keep cards in rubber bands. And I also kept my cards in rubber bands. So I have a very beat up Opticlops, and I had to get as good of a copy as I could find. So again, take a look at Opticlops. Like, it does not look like a monster you really want to engage with, and it really created such a memorable presence for me, especially. Liquid Beast. And one thing you'll notice about these monsters is like the names is just so simple. Like Hitatsumi Giant is probably the longest name here, but Whiptail Crow, Liquid Beast, Opticlops, Skull Servant, very straight to the point. And the name kind of like, once you see the image of the monster, you understand, right? It makes sense. It doesn't seem like it's out of place. And you probably already got a glimpse of the monster behind Liquid Beast, but this monster was one of my favorite too. Swordsman of Landstar, Joey's card. But yeah, this card always used to add some kind of a comic relief for me. A lot of his cards did. I guess it was more of his personality as well that added a bit of a comic relief to, when he played his monsters. Anyways, so yeah, just look. Card art is not complicated. This is something I really enjoyed, even collecting, and the art that I really enjoyed looking at. So, you'll find out that a lot of these old school cards are very simple, and I think that's part of the reason that they're very memorable. But yeah, thanks for watching.